I want you to check these out. Make sure they're normal silks. Just run your fingers through, make sure they don't come apart. They're absolutely normal, and there's no extra pieces or trap doors or anything like that. Now this one, I'm going to tie a knot in these silks. Now, I'm sure you ladies have tied up people before. I mean, tied up things before, right? Right. Make sure I'm making a real knot, okay? Yeah? Yeah. Put this right here. I'm going to pull those through like that. Legitimate. Yeah? How long do you think it would take me to untie this knot?
A minute?
A minute and a half. Seriously, a minute and a half?
Sure.
I'm going to need your help, okay? A minute and a half. Right there. A minute and a half. Okay? What's your name? Dana. Would you hold the ends? Hold that end, and I want you to hold this end, just like this. Don't let them... Okay? And I want you to hold the knot in your hand real tight. Hold it real tight, and just rub like this. Just rub, yeah. And I want you guys to pull very slowly.
How did you do that?
How did you do that? You did that. Watch. Blow right there. We won't do this. That's a real knot. This is what happens. Hold out your finger just like this. This is what we do. We're going to split that knot in two. One knot into two. Ready? Check it out.
Hey! Oh my god! I just got noticed.
Slidini silks. This routine will allow you to untie a knot like that. It will make it look like real magic. Like you could just make that knot melt away. Like the knot is literally dematerializing and melting away. And even in this routine, you're going to learn how to make it happen in the spectator's hand. Never done before with the Slidini silks. It's strong, it's practical, they're regular silks, and you get these with the routine. You're going to add this to your show right away. This is Slidini silks broken down in its rawest form. You already got the silks? And right now you're watching this this video, so watch very carefully. This is how it works. You're going to notice when you look through the silks that one of them has orange sewn into the end. This is very important. You need to tell which silk is which by glancing at them. Other silks have been made where with pink thread inside or both white, and it's so hard to tell. The orange is going to make it clean. It's going to make it so easy for you to do. And it's not going to affect the routine at all because you need to be certain when you do this routine. And this is how it works. You're going to take the corners and bunch them up just like this. All right, this is essentially the knot that you're going to make. It's going to be a slip knot. Notice the orange in the right hand. The orange silk right there. We're going to go left over right, around the back, and up, just like a regular knot. One more time, left over right. But now, when this orange one comes through, you're going to want to pull it to the left. Because if you pull it to the right, you're going to get a real knot. So make sure it goes to the left. The right hand takes the white silk and pulls it to the right. And now look what's going to happen. You're going to create a slip knot by adding pressure with the middle finger right here. Boom. When you get that look like that, you know it's a slip knot. Look, that silk can slip right out. It's essentially a slip knot, okay? Because you've added pressure with the middle. Basically, you tied this knot by itself. There was no pressure here on this white one. The middle finger came in, and the thumb and first finger here added pressure. And that gives you the slip knot. Now this is going to come off very easily. Act like you're tying it, real tight. You want to hold these two just like this, and give it a snap. Okay? Then you're going to come in, and you're going to tighten down here. This doesn't do anything to the knot when I do this. Nothing tightens. But watch my body language. Okay? Now it looks like I really tied that knot tight. So essentially what happens is I tied the knot, created the slip knot, and then I did this. Okay? My hand went over the entire knot, and I tightened right here. Watch the shoulder. Look what the shoulders do. See that? The elbows? And it's just acting like you're tying it. Because if you really were to tie a knot, you'd give it that effort. Now you have a slip knot, and it's going to slip right out. So you're going to take the middle finger here and just pinch the knot and slowly slip that knot out as you talk about how long do you think it would take. Now all I have to do is pull just a few inches and that'll come apart. And that's done in the action of the right hand coming down, taking the silk and bringing it up, covering the knot from view just for a split second. And from the back it looks like this. They hold on to that, you grab the other end, and the knots have dissolved. And the spectators are left holding the silks, and don't say anything, just let them react, because they're going to really be holding the knots like, what just happened? The knot just melted away. And that's the first phase. Second phase is simple. You make the same exact slip knot by putting the left over right, come around, left over right, and pulling that bottom one to the left. Even if you switch it up now, see now the orange part is the real knot, the white part is the slip knot. Even if you switch them up, the orange helps you distinguish which silk is which. Okay? I've created the slip knot, I snap it, I do my acting. Now you're going to show them again. How long would it take? It would probably take 5 to 10 minutes. Now I want you to go ahead and tie a knot. Now look, we know that this is the slip knot here. So all you got to do is keep your eye on that one. And when they tie an additional knot on top, doesn't matter how tight they make this knot. This is the greatest part. Doesn't matter how tight they make that knot. All you have to do is grab the white silk and grab the white end and pull. And if you pull hard enough, you will create another slip knot. Boom, right there, just snapped. Now look what happens. Their knot is still there, but you've created the slip knot again. Okay? Now if you want to do it in the spectator's hands, this is all you do. You've got that slip knot ready to go. Have them hold out their hand, palm down. Take the slip knot. Once again, take this silk on this side, give it to this person as you undo the knot. It's undone. But you want to keep a bunch. See how it bunches up like that? Keep that in your fingers and pinch that next to it. Okay? So it'll feel in their hand as if there's still a knot. Have this spectator hold this side, twist it around, and have the spectator on your right hold this end. Now this is going to go into their hand. Just like that. They still feel what they think is a knot. The two girls were holding these ends, and then you just rub the back of the girl's hand here. Spectator's hand, just rub it, and ask them if they start to feel it melt. And they'll say yes. And when the other girls pull, that knot will come undone, and it'll look like the magic happened in their hands. That's my addition to the slidini silks. I think it's very powerful, and you get 3 people reacting. You get a lot of punch for just a simple in the hands application. Now the last part, last phase of the routine is the rabbit knot. This is what you're going to do. You're going to take both up like this. You're going to pull one out so it's a little longer than the other, and then you're going to wrap it around. And what's going to happen is the long silk coming out is going to wrap all the way around, and you're going to clip this down here. And when you complete that knot, essentially what happens is when you pull this straight out, is you've got one silk tied around the other. Okay? See that? And the knot is here on the orange silk. That's all that is. Now when you have that spectator pull on them, when you have them hold both and pull as tight as they want, it doesn't matter. The knot's not really getting tighter, but since you're holding this end and they're pulling that end, you've got this tug of war going on with you and the spectator, like this challenge. Like, can this knot really be undone? Is this really going to happen? Because she's really pulling it, and there's no way that's going to come undone, right? Little do they know that this white silk is going to slip out. Very deceptive. You've let them feel how tight that is. Then you come in like this, cover that knot there, and basically what you do is pull this silk straight out. And when done in fast motion with the knot covered for a split second, it looks like it's melting apart. And you've covered that knot here. You've got a knot here hidden behind your finger. It looks like you just undid the knots. They melted right apart. Very visual. That's the most visual part of the routine. Now the end of the routine is this knot that's split in half. You're going to do the same exact move where you come around and you tie just that longer piece around. Okay? That longer piece comes around, but since you have a knot in that one silk, something amazing is going to happen. You've got that knot right there hanging out. It's going to go up into the bottom of that knot as you tighten the top part. Now you've got one knot inside another knot. It's inside there. So this is what it looks like. That's the original knot. This is the knot we just made. But it's going to be tucked up inside. Now you can have the spectator tug again, making sure that knot is near the bottom. Same thing. Give it a display like this, just like before. Let them see that it's a real knot. Now you're gonna have the spectator hold out their finger like this, and you're gonna do the same move, but this time you're gonna split the knot across their fingers like this. And it looks like the knot just splits right into one knot becomes two knots. This just defies any logic of knot tying. There's no way that this can actually happen. Boom, that knot splits into two. Immediately hand out the original knot. There's no way they're going to untie this as fast as you did. This literally takes at least 5 minutes, maybe a little less, but it'll take a while for them to untie that. They're going to be untying that. Meanwhile, give this a little extra tug because it's going to be looser than this one. Give it a little tug. Make sure it's got that extra tightness in it, and hand it out to another person and say, those are real knots. Yes, they're real knots. And you just done Slidini's knot routine. Slidini silks. This is a strong routine. Add it to your repertoire right away because the more you practice it, the smoother it gets, and it looks like real magic. There's a lot of opportunities for you to joke around with the audience. You can do a lot of jokes about tying people up. It's very funny. And you got yourself a kicker there. So go out and enjoy Slidini silks. Nice. Nicely done. Nicely done. Mistake number one that I made, don't let them hold the knot. Show them it, but don't let them hold it. If I can give you any piece of advice before you go out and do this routine, it's a clean routine. You can show everything, but don't hand it out because it'll really ruin the effect altogether.